Okay, great. We'll go ahead and get started. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Joanna Kim. I'm the Executive Director for the Stanford AIMI Center, and I'm joined today by Dr. Ala Youssef, who is the co-director for the AIMI Summer student programs. So we are so delighted to virtually spend this afternoon with you and to tell you about our summer programs. And also our executive sponsor for the summer student programs is Dr. Kurt Langblotz, who is the director of the AIMI Center as well. So before we dive into our student programs, I do want to share briefly about Stanford AIMI, the AIMI Center. So the AIMI Center is a community, a vibrant community of scientists and clinicians here at Stanford and around the world that are really working together to solve real-world medical challenges using AI. Imaging is part of the name of our center, but we really are looking at clinical problems across medicine in all different fields. And our mission is to use interdisciplinary expertise in areas like medical imaging, bioinformatics, computer science, engineering to develop innovative AI methods that improve healthcare globally. We started our program for high school students back in 2021 with a summer research internship, and that was really in response to the tremendous interest we started getting from high school students specifically seeking learning opportunities in the field. So we started our first summer internship program back in 2021. It quickly gained a lot of momentum, exciting momentum, and we realized it'd be very helpful for us to have an expanded program and additional educational opportunities for high school students that are interested in AI and medicine and health specifically. So we are really delighted to expand the program from our research internship and also include an AI Bootcamp this summer as well. We've also launched a webinar series that's held throughout the academic year called our Next Gen Tech Talk series, but that's really inviting experts from the field to talk about their career journeys, to provide some advice and guidance, insight, wisdom on how you can really dive into this exciting field of AI in medicine and health. So that's a little bit of a background for the AIMI Center. And now I will pass the mic to Dr. Youssef, who will talk more about our summer student programs for high school students.
Thanks so much, Joanna, and welcome everyone. So this year we are excited to have, as part of our summer high school student programs, we're really launching one additional program. So with the extensive demand that we have received for the summer research internship, we had recognized that many students do not really have are still starting their careers in machine learning and medicine and are really excited to learn about AI and medicine. And so we are starting this year the Summer AI Bootcamp. So we have two programs, the Summer Research Internship and the Summer AI Bootcamp. So let's go through the Summer Research Internship program overview as well as requirements. So usually the programs for both the research internship and the bootcamp happen between 2 weeks, is a 2-week program. And for this year, the dates are going to be between June 17th and 28th. Usually it's between 9 to 12, so it's not a full day to allow students, if they have other commitments during the summer, to be able to participate in. And the program is fully virtual. We realize the pros and cons of that, but we realize that by virtual, we really attract people across the nation, and we really want to make sure that this opportunity for internship is open to students all across the United States. The program is unpaid, and so there's no stipend for the students participating. As well, the students who are applying do not need to pay any fees for participating in this program. So the program is free. So what are the internship components? Well, the internship, as you can want to think about, between the 9 to 12 hours, it starts by some sort of a didactic lecture where one of our scientists or reminded speakers will give a talk about some of the components that people need to know about for the project. Every year, we pick an exciting machine learning project. And really, we have a tremendous group of teams, students working in teams, working on this hands-on project. And at the end, we celebrate the accomplishments of all teams by presenting the work they have had done. And I have to say that we have been impressed by the skills and the ability for students really to innovate in solving these problems. The students get a chance to be mentored by Stanford researchers and instructors who are experts in machine learning, as well as we hold in the last hour a lunch and learn session where we invite speakers across different domains in government, in academia, in nonprofit and profit, with the goal of providing students an opportunity to learn about the different career trajectories and how they might want to pursue their research or pursue their career. So we hope that this always inspires and shows students the different pathways to be in AI and medicine. So what are the eligibility for the research internship program? Because the research internship program it requires a hands-on project, so it requires some sort of a technical skill. So we are looking for students who are entering in their 9th grade through their 12th grade in fall 2024. So that means if you are finishing your high school and starting college, that this program will not be a good fit. I think the main component for us is, beside the competitiveness, is we want to make sure that people have relevant experiences and are able to connect with people like cohorts. The age to participate in this program needs to be 14 years or older. So we assume, but by all people entering 9th grade, that they are above 14. Preference will be given to students with strong skills in mathematics, computer programming skills, and who had research experience with computer science. And again, the reason for this is because the program is very short, we do not have a lot of time to provide deeper dive into the foundations of AI medicine, of AI machine learning. So we expect that students would have some sort of computer skills, meaning they had some sort of experience with Python, with any other computer language skills, and we'll dive deeper into the application components in a bit. Students need to be able to participate for 100% fully committed to participate from 9 to 12 for the 2 weeks program. We receive really a large number of applications, and so preference is always going to be given to anyone who's able to participate for the full time. And given the high demand and as the program continues to expand, we're currently including students from the United States only. So for the Summer AI Bootcamp, it's going to be happening in the same program, in the same time, and it's also going to be 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. Pacific time, but it's going to have a slightly different structure where we are going to be more delving into content-based and providing introduction into someone who might not have had a chance to, for example, to dive into machine learning, or who have computer skills, but really want to understand more about the problems of AI, machine learning, and healthcare. This is still an excellent fit. And so in this program, we are going to be diving into lectures on what is machine learning, what are the basic foundations, what are some challenges and opportunities for people to use machine learning to solve real problems in healthcare, and what are some best practices that machine learning people have done through their research. And we'll, of course, delve into a deeper component of foundation model and generative AI, which really had a big hype in medicine and really have tremendous opportunities. This program, similar to the research internship, is open to anyone entering 9th through grade 12 and requires a full-time commitment, but it does not require to have a technical background. And it is really about your commitment to learn about AI and medicine and start your journey of learning there. So the application process, and you can see here is a QR code that would take you to the application process. So for the research internship, and for the bootcamp, you would go to the AIMI website under education, and you click on high school programs, and you will see that there is the research internship as well as the bootcamp. And you would apply. If you're applying for the research internship, you will select the research internship application. So what are some components you might expect to see on the application? Well, for both, you will require to provide some demographic information, so we know how to reach you, as well as to have confirmation from your parents. This next component is really going to be some questions about courses, your academic history. So have you taken computer classes, calculus, statistics, biology? Some sort of important courses would be helpful for us to know. your GPA, weighted or unweighted, and unweighted, and your transcript. Technical skills and coding language experiences. So we will be, there's a few questions that would ask on, for example, have you used and have experience with any coding, any computer languages? If so, which language and how many codes do you code, or any experiences you have had? In the accomplishment section, and this section really you need to pay attention to, which is if you really have participated in any computer science or competitions or anything during your high school or middle school where you have participated in things related where you used your technical skills, please tell us about that. And please tell us if you have participated in competitions, participated in research or have won any awards, or your team in any competition has a public webpage that we can look through. There is some sort of short essay questions, and this is really to learn more about each candidate's interest. And we would require as well, beside the transcripts, at the end of it, to upload your CV as well, or resume. The application deadline is open. Applications are open now, and the deadline is Sunday, March 31st, in 2024. So please make sure you complete your application prior really to the deadline with a bit, just to make sure we get all applications. Now, what are the short essay questions? And we wanted to provide you a glimpse of it so you can think about that prior to starting your application. But one of the questions is, why are you interested in the AIMI Summer Research Internship program? What do you think are your unique perspectives or skills that you bring? To give you an example, some people have had experiences outside of healthcare, but they're really interested to apply their technical skills to solve problems in healthcare. And how do you think you can contribute? Make sure that to understand that this is a team-based approach. And so how have you been functioning collectively with other members in your competitions and projects? So make sure to tell us about that. What excites you most about the future of AI in medicine? So we want to see your potential and horizon of what you think is the North Star. How do you perceive the role of AI in transforming healthcare, and what specific areas within this field are you most passionate about? Describe a significant challenge or obstacle that you have had to overcome in the pursuit of your scientific studies. So how did you deal with it, and what did you learn from that experience? And that can be your experience in learning in school, in other projects, how you solved a problem within your team, that sort of questions, or something you have encountered that was an obstacle for you to learn, and you did overcome it really to get into, to achieve your goal. So tell us about that as well. Okay, so that's the research internship. So what about the AI Bootcamp? So the AI Bootcamp has a similar application, slightly different, but when you go to the application, again, on the AIMI high school program, summer programs, you will find the bootcamp application. So you want to make sure you submit to the summer bootcamp application. One component is you need to make sure that when you're applying to the bootcamp, is to know that if you think you do not have, so let me go first through the components, but similarly, you will need a demographic information, academic history, technical skills. So technical skills here is not required. So you will not see a component about coding languages and experiences compared to the research internship. And so if you think you did not take calculus, for example, in high school yet, or you did not have computer science experiences related to programming or any robotics or any kind of sort of experiences where you have the technical fluency, and you can think about that as how comfortable are you with writing Python or C++ scripts? If you can answer the question and know where you stand, that can help you determine. But if you think you don't have that, again, the bootcamp is an excellent place where you will really learn about these fundamental basics and how they're applied in healthcare. So you will also be required to talk about any accomplishments you had, and there's similar short essay questions. And one note is when you are applying for the research internship, as well as for the research internship program, there will be a checkbox where you can indicate your interest if you're not selected to the research internship, that you could be considered for the AI Bootcamp without submitting another application to the AI Bootcamp. So make sure if you're interested in both, not to submit an application to both, but to submit application to the research internship and just check for the box that you would like to be considered for the AI Bootcamp. Okay, so this really brings us to the exciting part of the conversation that we really are looking forward to. Johanna and I, please make sure you scan the code and add your questions. Please make sure to tag your questions as either general, if you have a general information about the program, general information about the requirements, or if you have anything that's specific related to the research internship or the bootcamp AI summer program, please do tag those because that will help us to get to your questions. So we would like now to open the floor for questions, and we'll be going through the questions as they come through. We'll just try to follow the format of going general, research internship, bootcamp, just to stay a little bit structured, but as questions come through, we'll switch.
Great, thanks. And we have a lot of questions that have come through already, over 60 questions. So we'll try our best to get to them. I know that there's some common themes here. So one question I see a few times is, what is the difference between the research internship and the boot camp? So just, very briefly described.
So, again, the main difference between the research internship and the boot camp is that the research internship, there is very little content. So, and the much of the time is spent working on a project. And you can imagine that once the team are in the program, they hit the ground running, know that this is the AI competition, like this is the machine learning task we're trying to build a model for. For example, to give you an example, in the last couple of years of the program, students had to build a computer vision algorithm that would help detect whether in chest X-ray radiographs there is tubes. In another one, there was both computer vision as well as NLP component where people were looking and extracting from the radiology reports. So in short, the research internship means that when you get into the first day of the program, you really need very little guidance or no guidance, and you're ready to form with your team, and you're really ready to hit into work during the most of the time, really the 3 hours between 9 to 11 and beyond, working with your team to solve the problem. And the difference between the bootcamp is we recognize that there's a high demand, and many students might not, they might be still eager to learn about machine learning, may still be eager to have this opportunity, but they might need more guidance on how to build their foundation and interest in machine learning. And so much of the virtual component of the bootcamp is going to be and it's going to be very engaging and interactive. But the component of it is, okay, so this is one topic, you would complete that session online. And when you come to the time where we are together, we have a lot of engaging activities to discuss ideas, to let you get to know other students, as well as to work on, like answering problems and think broadly about your interest. So you can think of the bootcamp as a place for you to develop your interest and understand what is really AI in medicine. And where do I really want to take it from here? If I have an interest in one component, where I can take it from there. There is just the difference that there isn't a hands-on practicum course where, practicum projects where you need to complete. So our main criteria for selection is that research internship, again, requires strong technical skills. Joanna, I don't know if you have something else to add about that.
Yeah, no, I think you covered that one very well. So thank you. So we have several questions regarding the acceptance rate. How many students are selected for each of the programs and how competitive the program is?
So this is a challenging one because Johanna and I and Dr. Langlotz and the full AIMI team, we have been seeing the increased number of applications, and every year we try to expand based on our capacity and resources, and that's why we have started another program. But usually the research internship is between 30 to 40 students. And again, it depends really on our application pool and how many really applicants we can select and break out. The main component is technical projects required that we have instructors are fitted into those different teams and are able to monitor and provide and give feedback. And so it requires more of a hands-on. The bootcamp is going to be slightly larger, but again, our numbers is going to be dependent on the application pool and, our ability really to accommodate as much as we can for the bootcamp, given that it's virtual, but at the same time, we expect between not above 100 in order to allow for students to engage. But again, we are always trying to go beyond, what we can in order to ensure we accommodate as much as we can. And again, the Summer Research AI Bootcamp started from the initiatives that we felt that we have a large number of applicants. How can we support? So the AIMI Center is always, and that's why we started the next Gen Tech series, where we are always trying to engage with students and make sure the AIMI Center is a place for people to come in and have opportunity to participate and learn.
Okay, great. And along the lines of that, just regarding applications, can students apply to both programs? How does that work? And then also, is it more competitive or more difficult for younger high school students to be accepted into the programs?
So as I mentioned in the application component, when you complete the AI research internship, if you want to be considered for both, yes, the answer is yes, you can apply to both. But we encourage you, if you want to be considered for both, is not to submit an application to both programs, but to just complete the AI research internship and make sure to select that you would want to be considered for the bootcamp. And the other component of the questions, as with respect to, I think it was about, sorry, what was the second part of the question?
If it's more difficult for younger students to be accepted into the programs.
I think it is not going to be depending on age, as it's going to be dependent on skills and technical components and experiences and passion. So it's really we have put a scope on the application age to be between going to grade 9 and going to grade 12, but within that doesn't mean we're going to give someone higher preference. I think the most component is we of course will try to have a balance and mix and a diversity between the age groups and as well as race and gender and everything. But the main component is really it's about the technical skills, passion, and how we see people are fitting together as a team to be able to participate and work on the projects.
Before I read the next question, I see a few hands that are raised and just wanted to let our audience know that we are taking questions only through Slido. So you'll see here slido.com #AIMI Summer 2024. That is how you can ask questions. So just didn't want to ignore, but just let anyone know who, if you raise your hand, please ask your question through Slido. So along the lines of that, the last question, are out-of-state students is there any kind of preference for students from California or in the Bay Area, et cetera? So there's some questions about just the application of the acceptance rates for out-of-state. And then also there's a few questions regarding students who are out of the country, out of the US. So if you could address that, that'd be great.
Sure. So in response to the first question, no, there's no preference between students who are residing or living in California versus other states. Again, one of the main components of why we maintain the virtual is we like to have diversity and allow this opportunity really to be accessible to as many students wherever they live in the United States as much as possible. With respect to out of state, so again, I think it's also important to know that if you are living in the US and you're going to be traveling, you need to let us know. And for students who are not in the US and they are living outside, we are always trying to expand. I think the main challenge for us has been aligning timing and capacity and demand. So for this year, unfortunately, we're not accepting students who are residing outside the United States, but this is something we are continuously looking into and trying to expand and hope to have this in future years.
Great. And then there's several questions about selection criteria and what are we looking for when we're selecting students for the research internship and also the bootcamp?
Okay, so this is an excellent question. So because we really have a high number of applications, we read most of every application. However, I think as we have And the reason we have shared application is to be transparent. The application criteria is to be transparent about our selection criteria. So you can map it based on, for research internship, we're really looking for people who have technical experience. And again, if you say you have the course, but you really don't provide a lot of description into the questions about, in the essay questions about exactly how you use those skills, that this is not something that will give you a lot of credit. So if you tell us you have programming or coding experience, tell us how you use that in the essay questions. Tell us about your vision. So it's about you, and as how compelling you can be in terms of telling us, this is my technical skills, this is my passion, and this is really where I want to apply my technical skills and participate in a component related to AI in healthcare and medicine. And again, with respect to the bootcamp, it is more about your essay questions and really how you telling us a compelling story of why you really want to be part of the bootcamp, what you want to learn, and how you take this learning forward in order to you really advance your skills and contribute. I think our main passion and component for launching these different programs is we recognize the tremendous eagerness to learn for students and apply for college and pursue innovative ideas in their education. And so tell us about really, if you learn something from here, how are you going to apply and take this in the bootcamp application? And again, it's very important to know that for the technical component, honesty is going to be very critical for us to be able to really select students. And so matching, ensuring that your technical skills align with your experience is going to be our number one filtering criteria. And then our second component is really trying to maximize diversity in terms of age groups, in terms of like school years, in terms of gender, race, and ethnicity. So it's really a multitude of factors, but our number one filtering criteria for the research internship is really technical skills. And this is not really, again, for anything, but it's through our learning experience that we do not want students who do not have the technical skills to feel that they are behind when they participate in these programs. And that's why we launched the bootcamp. Is we want everyone to feel, motivated and eager to learn and feel that they are able to contribute and able to learn and able to engage. And so doesn't mean anything if people are applying, if they are having technical skills or not. It just means we are trying to create a learning experience where really you're going to be benefiting from it the most.
Great. So we do have more questions, general questions regarding the applications, but I'm going to go ahead and switch gears to some of the internship questions. We can get back to the other questions afterwards. So there's a lot of questions regarding the AP courses, and if that's a requirement, what did they do if they're interested or planning to take an AP course, but have not taken the exam yet or have not taken the course yet? So if you could speak on the AP course, questions for the internship, that would be great.
Okay, so I think the AP course for biology and for statistics are not like if you indicated like if you did not take it, just say no. But then say if in your descriptions that you're planning to take or comment sections that you're planning to take these courses. But again, I think the AP courses for calculus and computer science are going to be determining factors in terms of filtering, because and that's not again for anything except that these courses are expected to cover the basic foundations, and to ensure that students who have that, we would expect them to have covered certain concepts. If you have covered those concepts, for example, if you have taken something alternative to the AP calculus in your middle school or in outside kind of a different course, let us know that you have taken that, because we can consider that. But this question is really meant to know whether you have some of sort of the basic foundations of mathematics as well as computer science, so you can really dive deeper into and understand much of the machine learning tasks and projects that you will be working on.
Great. So we have some questions about if we can describe what the program is like in terms of the mentorship aspects, and then also the program aspects. Are they individual research projects, team projects? So maybe regarding the research internship projects.
So I would say the research internship has multiple layers. So in the didactic component of the lecture, usually one of the Stanford research postdocs or scientists or faculty will give a talk initially, and that is meant to be, like, for example, today we're going to be focusing on computer vision. We're going to give you a teaser into what is really going to be the hands-on task that you're going to be working in. You're going to go into your hands-on project with your team that you're matched with. So we will match the team in advance of the program launch date. And once we start introducing people to and launching the program, you will have a chance to meet your group and work with your group closely. And within your group, you will have a Stanford mentor who is going to be really your close mentor, providing one-to-one guidance with any sort of immediate questions, as well as there will be the Stanford faculty or postdocs or scientists who are providing the didactic lectures, dropping in between the different teams in order to answer or address any specific technical questions or non-technical questions. So there's two layers of mentorship. There's a mentorship component of someone really being in your leading your team, and he's your mentor to kind of like guide you for immediate questions. And there is someone else who is really at a large level, dropping in to make sure any aspects of technical or foundational or any other questions they can support you with. And as well, we always host, Q&A sessions and check-ins between the programs. So you always have a chance to report to the program staff, as well as to anyone if you have any questions about, or if you have any challenges that you would like to talk to us about.
Great. So we have some questions regarding, those who participate in the internship, would they be able to publish findings in an academic journal? Can they continue engagement with Stanford researchers and faculty? What can they expect in terms of engagement through and after the internship program?
So this is a great question. We have received a lot of inquiries about that in the past years. And in general, to give you a context, the short answer for publication is you will be presenting your abstract to you on the final day of the project with respect to the research internship and your project overall. However, we cannot promise for publications, as the program is really a toy project, and it's not sufficient for us to really finish a whole research project. And a research that leads to publication require really a large number of time commitment and close mentorship, which we are not able to provide at the moment, given the demand and the time that's really required to get people to speed to be able to contribute meaningfully to these projects at this point in time. And so think of the research internship as an opportunity for you to learn, build your skills, and take this forward to apply to research internship opportunities in future years that might come up with respect to research participation. In general, if we see candidates are fit and we have research opportunities, the mailing list for AIMI always try to share this broadly to make sure any students who have participated in our programs to know about these opportunities. And if they think they are fit, they might provide they might express their interest, and we might see how we can match or contribute to that. However, there's no promises, as this depends on how really there's a demand and need for integrating research internship during the year. So in short answer, it is no publication. And again, it is focused on the 2 weeks and the skills you can develop and getting a certificate of completion, as well as we have an award-winning team when we compare or evaluate the project at the end of the 2 years project. And AI Bootcamp as well would receive a completion certificate. But again, this research internship is meant to provide you with an exposure into what research AI machine learning projects might look like.
Okay, great. So there are questions. So there are a few additional questions regarding the AP and the advanced courses for computer science, math, calculus, etc. So just in general, I would say that it doesn't have to be AP. There is a question that asks about if you've taken other advanced courses. So that includes IB courses you may have taken at local city or community colleges. If you're, other math tutoring programs, etc., supplementary enrichment programs or courses you've taken, there is a space where you can include that information. And so AP is just one of several, metrics that we're looking at, but definitely if you haven't taken an advanced course, but you still are very comfortable and have fluency with coding, I would say, don't worry about it. Just, go ahead and apply. But I also see a lot of questions where I have no coding experience. Can I apply for the research internship? And for this year's research internship, we do require that you are able to code. So just wanted to make sure that that's very clear. If you are very interested in AI and medicine and health applications, but you don't code, then the boot camp is perfect for you. So, I would recommend someone who doesn't have coding experience to definitely apply for the boot camp and, over the internship. Ollie, would you like to add anything to that?
No, and I just would echo that even if you're advanced and you are interested really about applying your skills and learning more about, the problems of in healthcare that can be solved with machine learning, this is again an excellent fit. I think the bootcamp really provide you with an overview perspective of really what is the current status of AI in medicine, what are the challenges we are struggling with, and this is really an exposure for you that can provide you innovative ideas into why you would want to pursue a specific career direction or what you would want to do as in your next project. And I think if you participate in the bootcamp and you want to apply, actually, and we encourage you, if you come to the bootcamp, develop your coding experiences, apply next year for research internship. That gives you actually also as well high credits that you have had, that you have built on your skills. And we always look forward to support our students and participants.
Great. And then I do see a few questions asking, is there a cost for the boot camp or the internship? The answer is no. There's no cost to or application fee to participate. So no cost to apply and no cost to participate in either of the programs. There was also a question about whether both programs are virtual. The answer is yes, both programs are virtual. Let's see here. There are questions about whether graduate students, graduating high school students, and middle school students can apply. And for this year's program, unfortunately, no. There is a requirement from the university that the interns and bootcamp participants are at least 14 years old. So there is an age requirement there. And then also just because we do have a very large number of applications that come through, we are focusing on current high school students and high school students who will be in high school next year as well. So hopefully that answers questions there. There was also a question about how many applications did we get last year. For the internship, we received over 1,100 applications. Let's see here. So I think that those are, there's also some just general questions about how deep of technical skills are required for the internship and what programming languages would be used.
So I think, it requires a fluency again, would be able, think about that. Are you able, if someone gives you a task related to coding about building a computer vision pipeline and testing that, are you able to easily do that? Are you able to build or write a code for NLP, NLP, natural language processing, or text-based code? Are you able to quickly write that without any need of support? And the most common use is Python. However, if you have been, we recognize that people in robotics or in other components have C++ or Java experiences, and these things map relevantly. So if you have those experiences and otherwise, but really haven't coded much in Python, let us know that in your experiences, and then we can assess that on a one-to-one basis. But generally, it really requires that you have some sort of a computer coding framework and lens of you understand how to develop a code and how to quickly write the code without very little assistance.
Okay. Great. So last question for the internship before we kind of come back to internship questions is what does the day-to-day program look like for a research internship participant?
Okay, so I love this question because really we have built like a strong relationship with our students and how every day is very vital and energetic. And that's why we require people to participate for 100% of their time, because it really depends on every one of you to be in here and participate in the program. So as I mentioned earlier, we usually have in the beginning of the first hour, we have a small lecture or a keynote talk that will just give you a highlight of, for example, if we're building something related to medical imaging. So we would introduce you to what is in medical images. How do you really identify, like labels, or how do you really build algorithms in there? What are sort of challenges or things when working with medical imaging pipeline? Similarly, if we're talking about, like how do you evaluate a natural language processing algorithm? What is the criteria for or dimensions of what you would evaluate and benchmark this algorithm? How do you build that algorithm? And so these are overview, they are high level, so we would not delve into step-by-step code. So that's why we are saying people need to have some sort of a technical skill. After that 45 minutes to 1 hour, we usually have a short break as well, and then people start to dive into their breakout rooms with their team members. And there is, of course, a mentor in there, and they kind of provide an overview of what is the task you're supposed to work on as a team, and you keep building on that. And the program is structured for 2 weeks so that every day or every couple of days, we ensure that there's a milestone that is met. So by the end of the program, you would really have a full pipeline and then are able together in the second week to put a presentation together as a team and tell us about your experience of how you build algorithm and what is the outcomes of your project and team work. The one other thing relates to the summer program, which really makes it exciting, is the Lunch and Learn. We really attract diverse, high-profile speakers across the different sectors, from academia, government, as well as industry and nonprofit, to show you, to let you get exposed and ask questions to people and see how people career trajectories and journeys have shaped. What was their route and what are the failures and challenges, but also what are the successes that they have accomplished. I find this to be very exciting because sometimes when we are in high school or when we are in college even, we feel, like we are limited by the experiences we know of. So the more you expand your vision and see different avenues of how you can pursue your goal, this can really help shape your vision of really is what's your next steps, what would you look up to be in the future. So this is what a day-to-day would typically look like within the program. We really have, for example, in the beginning of every couple of days, a check-in with everyone to make sure everyone, if they have any questions, we address that, as well as we have a Slack a component that's active all the time for each subgroup, as well as for the full program, where if there's any issues, we're ready to engage, and we're ready to provide support and time in real time.
Great. And that's a great segue to the question that I see a few times here for the boot camp, which is, what is the day-to-day schedule like for boot campers?
So the bootcamp is excitingly coming along. I think our main component is going to be really how do we make this engaging, and as well as provide you with the foundational component. And so what we are expecting is we will have you will have in advance to complete an online a module through Coursera or other platform on specific sort of module that we will provide you access to, and come to the class or come to the program on that day ready to really discuss and dive into breakout activities with other students and with us to talk about what did you learn, what are some challenges, what are some thoughts. And that component is meant to provide and expand your ability to ask questions, reflect, and engage and think deeper of what are some opportunities, what are some challenges. So it's meant for you to promote you to encourage to think more critically and engage in breakouts and get to learn about what other people think about with respect to that component. And again, you also have the opportunity to join the career, the Lunch and Learn, where you really get, again, to listen to people with their diverse experiences who might have not had machine learning experience, but ended up being physicians as well as machine learning experts, or people who were machine learning experts and took that into a very different approach. So I think, like the bootcamp is really an excellent way for you to get a quick glimpse of what AI path from AI foundations of what is really machine learning and AI to how it is innovatively being applied into exciting opportunities, today in medicine, and what is the future of it.
Great. So there's a question regarding the application for bootcamp and internship. So if you are interested in the bootcamp and also the internship, then you need to apply using the internship application. So when you do the internship application, which does ask additional questions regarding your coding skills, there is, a way to just check a box saying, I'm also interested in the bootcamp if I'm not selected for the internship. But it doesn't work the other way around. So just FYI, if you fill out a bootcamp application, you won't see a question saying, can I also be considered for the internship? You would need to submit an internship application separately. Another question is, bootcamp all virtual? Yes, it is. What part of the application is weighted the most for the bootcamp?
Okay, this is a good question. So the bootcamp application is really depending on your essay questions and really on your whole profile. So there isn't a component where when we always appreciate the participant's profile, whether in the research internship or the bootcamp, but the bootcamp is really why you really want to come in here, whether you have the technical skills and wanted to learn more about AI, about medicine and what are the problems in medicine, whether you don't have really the technical components, but interested to learn and explore and build what is really your story. So tell us your story. And again, we will try to maximize the diversity of the students across. States is not going to be a filtering factor. Any other sort of access or any other factors that you think could be limitations is not. It's really about your story, your passion, and our capacity and diversity of the program.
Great. I'm going to try to go through some of the bootcamp questions. I know we're getting close to the top of the hour. So is the bootcamp like summer classes? Well, it's a little different. I would say it's intended to be much more engaging. There is content that we will be going through together. So there is, a number of pre-recorded lectures by Stanford researchers and faculty. But I think what's really special is just that opportunity to engage, where we will have live discussions. We will be bringing in AI experts, physicians, engineers, and those just in the field who will come and really discuss the material with you. So this is quite different from being on your own, just watching content on your own. But the idea is that there really would be a deep level of engagement. There is no student project as part of the bootcamp experience. We also will not really be teaching you how to code through the bootcamp experience. It's really more to teach you fundamentals of machine learning in healthcare and AI medicine applications. There are some questions. Is there a fee? As we mentioned, no, there's no fee for the bootcamp. It is free to participate. How much coding knowledge is needed? No coding knowledge is needed for the bootcamp, but I also really want to encourage those who do have technical skills to also apply for the bootcamp. So I don't want people to think that bootcamp is for beginners who don't code, and the internship is only for advanced. The internship, yes, you do need to have coding skills for the internship, but for the bootcamp, it's fine for people who have a lot of coding and technical skills to participate in the bootcamp. There are students that are really expert coders, but haven't really discovered much about the application of their technical skills in medicine and in healthcare settings. And so we really want students of all different levels of technical skills to feel comfortable applying for the bootcamp. I know that you will walk away with just an enriched understanding of how AI is being used in health and medicine. So the bootcamp is for all. And then will students be working on projects? No. So it is quite different from summer classes, but it's definitely an emphasis and a focus on learning in the bootcamp. but I would say, just highly engaged learning. And let's see here, there is no student-directed research. Coding experience is not really applicable for the boot camp. The tentative dates, so the dates are the same for the boot camp and the internship. They both run from June 17 through 28. There were some questions about the hours outside of 9 to 12. Are there other requirements? I would say no, not really. Maybe some prep work is needed. But for those who are in the internship, if you'd like to do things outside of the 9 to 12, you're welcome to do that. Let's see here. How many students are accepted into the boot camp? It really depends, but we're hoping to accept around 50 students. This is our first year having the boot camp. So that's just something we wanted to share as well. What topics will we learn in the boot camp? That is on our website. So if you could check out the website for that, that would be great. Let's see here.
I see one question related to CV versus resume, and there is no preference about that, whatever you have, and there's no one that's weighted higher than another. Typically, we know most people have resumes, so if you have that or if you have a CV, they're both equivalent.
Okay, great. So I think that covered a lot of the boot camp question. One question I see for boot camp and internships is will this help my application towards Stanford as an undergrad if I apply to attend Stanford for college? So yeah, if we could take that question.
So the short answer is it depends. So it depends on what is your accomplishment. We cannot speak about the admissions of Stanford because this is not something we are involved in, but we support our students and we write applications depending on how we know of them. So one advice is, and one key takeaway is, doesn't mean because you're into the program, we're going to write a very strong recommendation letter. Our recommendation letter is always going to depend on your performance, your engagement, your work in the program. And so if you want us to write a strong recommendation letter, we are always happy to support that, but you really have to show us in the program. And again, we have people who we wrote application and they got into Stanford, and people we wrote application for and they did not get into Stanford, but they got to other prestigious schools. So it's really not about the program, of course, give you a great lift, but a major component is really your story and how you put this into a compelling admission component, whether in Stanford or beyond. So really, I would encourage you to of course expect that we will support you, but also to know that it's not a guarantee that if you have participated in this program that you're gonna get a Stanford undergrad admission.
Just a few other quick questions before we just move away from specifically boot camp questions. Is there a required GPA? No, there's no GPA requirement to apply for the program. Are there any small mentorship settings in the boot camp? So we did talk about the lunch and learn, where we will bring experts from the field in. This is a live session. It's not pre-recorded. It'll be a session where we can really learn from experts in the field, ask questions, and all. Did you want to elaborate?
Yeah, and yeah, I mean, really, why we are holding a big hour, like a big component of it for engagement activities, is that this is time where we and experts will be on there to really answer your questions, really provide mentorship. So actually, majority of the bootcamp is mentorship, if you would think about. So I would say that there is a lot of mentorship, and whenever we feel there is a need, we step in right away to support students, whether with additional time or something like that in between the breaks. So I think you're supported with mentorship in both programs, but the bootcamp have a lot of mentorship, as Johanna mentioned, with respect to the lunch and learn, and after the watching the pre-recorded, all that time is time where we have a close mentorship with everyone and guiding questions to help anyone who have any questions.
And then I see several questions regarding to this one question about the bootcamp, so I will cover that as well before we move on. But if you apply to the bootcamp through the internship application, are you in any way penalized by not getting into the internship? The answer is no. And really, in general, I would say, if you're interested in both opportunities, just apply for both. Our selection committee is not here to penalize and really, just like, to like reduce chances. if we could have it our way, we would want to provide internship and learning opportunities for all students. So that's really the spirit of where we're coming from, is we are in a very, high impact field, and it's super exciting. And we want to share this opportunity with as many students as possible. So that's really where we're coming from. And we want to make sure that we have the right cohorts who can really benefit from these different opportunities. And so that's really why we're offering the second opportunity. So in some ways it's a little bit confusing, but I really hope that people can see these are both fantastic opportunities. And if you're interested in both, then definitely go ahead and apply for both. And there was some question that, there's that checkbox that we talked about at the end of the internship application. Someone said they didn't see it. I think we saw it there, so we will just double check that. Yeah, hopefully that answers the majority of questions for the boot camp.
And in case if you have applied and you did not see the checkbox, let us know. We know the people who have applied before the going live on this session. You can email the amy.stanford.edu email, and we can help ensure that your application will be considered for both if that was an interest and you did not know about that. So just to give a fair chance for everyone. So if you feel that there's something that about that specifically, let us know, and then we can correct that on our side. I just want to say that one final thing is, really, we come to this program with a full passion of mentoring and providing opportunities for you. And we recognize how there's so much talent wherever you get into our program or not. And we're always here to support and promote, and our other Next Gen Tech series and all that is really meant to expand the way AIMI is able to provide educational opportunities for others to learn about groundbreaking research, to learn about their career direction. And so we're always here to support and mentor. And we really, again, as Johanna mentioned, if it's about us, we would bring everyone in, and we really would have. So we put a lot of time, we put a lot, as much resources as we can, and we're really excited to work with everyone, and grateful for you actually taking the time to come and ask your questions, and really the passion and eagerness to join. We have a really large number of attendees, and that's something that we're really grateful that you took the time on a Saturday. Johanna, I don't know if you have something else to add.
Yeah. So I would say someone had asked about Next Gen Tech Talk series. So we do have one that's coming up in February on the 26th at 5 p.m. We've heard from high school students that this is a great time. So hopefully this time works for you. But the Tech Talk series also, we will have Dr. Yadam, who is a professor here for emergency medicine. She's been doing some fantastic work using AI to detect stroke very quickly when someone comes to the emergency room, the emergency department with stroke-like symptoms. So using AI for that, her and a number of people from emergency medicine team, they'll be talking about their work in AI, and it's really fascinating. I love hearing her speak. So that's Monday, February 26th. There's a QR code here if you want to sign up for the webinar. All of these educational opportunities are free. So please feel free to sign up, share the information with your classmates in your schools. And then also just really quickly, there are a few other questions regarding the application. So is it rolling basis? We will be reviewing the applications formally after the March 31st. Of course, we're eager to see the students, so we do look at the applications before then, but we will be formally entering the review process after the March 31st deadline. Students will hear back around May 1st, give or take a few days. And let's see here. So there are a number of questions that we couldn't really get to, but they're all along the lines of the questions that we have touched on. So if there are any other questions, then please do feel free to reach out. Do we need letters of recommendations? No, you do not need letters of recommendations. I saw a question, what are your names and how can we contact you? So my name is Joanna Kim. I'm the executive director for the AIMI Center. And I can be reached, both of us can be reached at the email address aimicenter@stanford.edu. So aimicenter@stanford.edu is the best way to reach us. And then I think you see Allah's name as well, but Dr. Allah Youssef. So those are our names. Let's see here. And so this Slido, we will keep it open for a bit, and we will be responding for a lot of these questions online. So please feel free to check back and see some answers there. Questions where we see a lot of, just frequency of that particular question or that theme, we will be adding a frequently added asked questions page to our website, and we will post those. So that's available. We've been asked about a recording for this session. Yes, we will post a recording of this session, and that's on our YouTube channel. So if you go to YouTube and look for Stanford AIMI, AIMI, then you will find us and you will find a recording of this info session as well. So hopefully that really gave you a good idea of the two programs and what we'll be offering this summer. And we really look forward to seeing you all this summer, or many of you this summer.
And we also look forward to seeing you at the Tech Talk series, the Next Gen Tech Talk series. And as well, you know that this is also moderated by high school students. So it's really from you to you, one-to-one. So we're really excited again to see you and to welcome the students for 2024 summer, both research internship and AI bootcamp.
Okay, great. Well, have a great rest of your afternoon and weekend. And please feel free to reach out again, AIMI Center at stanford.edu if you have any questions. Take care. Thanks. Bye-bye.